We'd been looking at the facets in the OPAC recently, and I've got 4 bugs. Um, one would be to add the date published, so you could, narrow it down by like decade or something like that. One would be the date added, so you could narrow it down by like it was added in the last, week or the last 30 days or the last 6 months or something like that. Um, to add the star ratings, so you could look at, I only want to see the things that rate 4 or 5 stars. I don't care about what people have rated 1. And to add the target audience, so you could say, well, I'm looking for children's books, or I only want teen, or I only want adult. Are those things that people would be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, we're not using the star ratings feature, but the other stuff. The other stuff, yeah.
If those are features that I wish I could use when I'm the patron looking for things I want to read in the Koha catalog, and that those are features that I use all the time as a public library patron.
Right.
Yeah, so I would love those facets.
And I don't know whether, I didn't say anything about it in the bug. Should it say that it needs to happen on both zebra and elastic, or just elastic, or I wasn't sure whether to put that in there.
I think both.
And those bug numbers again are?
Let's see, the date published is 26839. The date added is 26840. The star ratings are 27501, and the target audience is 27502. And then in the staff side, when you search for a guarantor, the pop-up that comes up after you do your search and you get your results, you have to scroll down to see the results. It seems like the pop-up should be taller, so you didn't have to do as much scrolling. And I put a bug in for that one. It's 26755. So there's that one. I think I got all of those in the chat.
Here's just a new bug that could be useful on the reports page. When you're selecting parameters, it doesn't show the notes that appear on the like edit page and the results page and show up in the thing. And
Yeah,
so
I
there's
try to stick instructions in there sometimes, but it would be nice if they carried over.
yeah, that was just reported like today. So that you can put information there. I don't know if it'd be more helpful to have the notes or to have like an instructions section that could show up.
I know with the notes, it kind of just forms everything into one line.
Mm-hmm.
You try to kind of indent and space things out. So instructions would be pretty cool. But I feel like that would up the effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then people would have to move their instructions from their notes field where they've been keeping it over to this new field called instructions. Mm-hmm. Maybe just letting, that if you add a space or you're making bullet points in that notes field, that they are retained. Style-wise,
they used to be, and then I think there was an update because of some security stuff. And then I think George wrote some jQuery that made it work again.
Of course George did.
Yeah, I'm using that jQuery.
I need to put it in. I always forget. I'll think about it like occasionally, because he put a lot of like heavily formatted notes in to reports here at Valnet. But I don't remember why. That I feel like there was a reason that was turned off.
I think it's just because you could like inject things in there, malicious code and stuff. I'm not sure.
Lucas is nodding.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is exactly why, Jason.
I guess I have a question. Is anybody using the report a problem feature in 2005? And I guess I'm asking Lisette or Barbara because I know they're on 2005.
No, and when we tested it in our test server last week, it reported the wrong URL. So that was a ticket I put in last week. It reported the report a problem form URL instead of the search result URL.
That's good to know. I was trying to decide if we want to turn it on, and if so, how we were gonna like style it, because it's not extremely obvious on the pages where it is.
And
but if it's kind of broken, then that gives me an excuse to not turn it on yet.
And we hadn't implemented it yet because we talked about feeling a lot that our patrons will just report other kinds of problems than, something about the actual page, like the image isn't there or, that kind of stuff. And so we just hadn't turned it on yet.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that as well. Like people asking to renew their books through that or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's something we were concerned about as well. But we thought, well, we can turn it on the test server and see what happens. And the answer was, well, that's a problem already. So we'll wait for that.
Yeah, I believe 27468. Kelly put that in. And Owen's asking for confirmation. So if either of you want to say, yeah, it's broken over here and our OPAC base URL is correct.
It might not be because it's the test server. So it might have the regular base URL and not the test server base URL. That might be part of the problem.
Should probably be reporting the page, though, of what's reported on. And you said it just brought you to the report a problem URL form.
Yeah, but that was what ONS, so it'd probably be good to at least make sure that it's the correct thing before commenting. In case for some bizarre reason that being a mismatch breaks the code that pulls the correct URL. Because sometimes there's weird things like that. Yes, it is the correct one.
Excuse me, bug 27498 is about either moving or adding the holds ratios button to the acquisitions homepage and like the acquisitions budget page. And the reasoning for us is that we feel that's more a function of collection development, and it's in circulation right now is where you have to go to click on it to see that. And it just seems misplaced to us. So either if it could be duplicated or moved, it just seems like it would live better under acquisitions.
That seems logical to me. We don't actually use that one because we have artificially inflated hold ratios, so it's not as useful for us. But I think that for the people, it makes sense that the people who would be buying the books would be able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any permissions that would prevent somebody from seeing them. Like you have to have certain holds permissions to view it. I don't think so, but that'd be something to double check.
Huh, now it's working for us, or at least appears to be.
It's the curse of everyone looking while you do it, Lisette. You're going to have to do it again in an hour and see if it's broken again.
Yep. Yeah, because it knew that I was in a call and we were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem to be working now, so.
I put in 26861. We'd like to see the action buttons on the item edit form. They're at the bottom, but we'd like to see them duplicated at the top, because sometimes you don't really need to, you want to do something, it's at the top of the form and you'd rather not scroll down to have to save it, and you could just save it at the top.
What bug number was that, Barbara?
That is 26861. Actually, that's a different one. That's another one we want. 26861 is actually the when you've got anything in your OPAC hidden items, when you're in the staff client searching, you can't really tell that. So like when you've got a record that's suppressed, it says it's suppressed. So it seems like it would be nice to have it say that it's using the OPAC hidden items, because I forget that we use that sometimes, especially during COVID. We did some hiding of things, which we normally wouldn't have. And then it'd be like, well, why aren't they showing? And it took us a while to figure out, well, it's because we had put them in the OPAC hidden items. But the other bug, let me find it. The action buttons. It's actually 26681. I can't read my own writing, so I'm copying, telling you the wrong things.
I mean, all of the bugs are on topic for sure. We're just getting the like full guided tour.
Well, that's the thing, is I feel like I'm needing to poke at them and get them so other people make comments and poke at them so that something happens with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 27320 had to do with in the Mark export tool, if you could also export based on shelving location code and collection code, that would be helpful. We recently were exporting some digital records, and my first thought was to use another field, and yet those weren't available. So having those in addition to item type would be really useful.
I definitely agree on that one. Adding more flexibility to that tool would be helpful, especially since people use those different categories for different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an idea, but it's I'm wondering how possible or impossible it might be. And the facets bugs reminded me of this, that after you do a search, you have the breadcrumbs that say home and like result of your search. And I was wondering about if in between those, there was a link that said edit your search that would, if you clicked it, would take you to a pre-filled advanced search screen. Because sometimes you do your search and then you realize, oh, that's not quite what I wanted, or it's large, and you do have the choice to then narrow post search with the facets, which is wonderful. But sometimes, you know, you inadvertently have 2,500 items and it's too much. But seeing what you get tells you how you want to change your search. But right now, if you go to search again, you have to rekey everything you put in. So if you had something like an edit your search that took you back to what was filled in, then you could simply add more quick parameters or easily fix your misspelling, something along those lines. And I got this idea because abebooks.com has that feature. If you go there and fill in a search and you get your results, there's an edit this search.
That seems like a good idea and really helpful. Like it.
Okay, I'll try to maybe get some screenshots, think it out better, describe it better, and then put a bug in for that.
Another thing we thought of recently is it might be nice to have like a jump to page box so that instead of, if you've got 20 pages, you might want to jump to page 13 or something like that.
In search results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love that because oftentimes I'm shelf listing, and so I've done my call number search, and yes, I want all my call numbers at VM1, all 200 pages worth. And then I have an idea that I'm probably going to be shelf listing around page 130. Yeah.
If I put on my, like, maybe a developer or cynic hat, it'd be, well, that's not the use of the search tool exactly. If your result is all the way page 200, like, clearly the search engine's a problem. But
It's
then that sounds like
true.
you're doing a more inventory thing. I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
yeah.
what librarians need, less so than like patrons. Unless you've got a librarian patron, and then all bets are off.
But yeah, I mean, shelf listing is a constant challenge because there's no way for me to get, say, VM1 and then everything with that first cutter number M. And right now with Elasticsearch, it isn't even sorting correctly with Library of Congress cutters. So I have to look at like all the cutters in M because they're not being sorted decimal correctly, and then kind of try to mentally put it, but that's a separate thing. But anyway, yeah.
What kind of search are you doing? Is it an advanced search or are you using the item search?
It's just a keyword search with I'll put it in the chat. It'll just be like that, just boom.
Because have you tried the item search?
I haven't.
So that's
because that would be like click, 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 click. But also I do this in the OPAC because the display colors are easier to scan and read. Scanning and reading call numbers in the staff client. Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to even remember what this search looks like. Here, let me do something that's not just gonna do a billion things. How this outputs. Because that's like different than the regular search results. It comes up more like a table.
That's true.
And you can even say like show all of them. And I don't know if this will sort the call number better for you.
I'll give it a try, because if it does sort the call number better, that would be better. And it is easier to scan since it's in a column.
And it has an edit search button if you need that. And you can add custom, like we added the acquisition date and damage status. So if you wanted to search with specific fields, you can do that too. So I don't know. There was a Monday Minutes on this and we didn't know anything about it before that. And now I use it all the time.
Oh, I love the item search.
Yeah. The only thing I wish it could do is that I could do an item search and then send it to somebody else.
Yes.
But right now you can't do that, I don't think. I should probably put in a bug for that. I just never think of it. Rather than sending them like a CSV or something. Sending them like, here is the search done. Because some of my staff just get overwhelmed by the item search field, even if I say, these are the fields, these are the parameters you need. They'll still just be like, I don't know, man, I don't know. Which I get. I had to look at the Monday Minutes video a couple times and play around with it. So I get it, especially if you're not used to that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah.
And we'd like to see batch editing capability added to the item search.
Like we could do with reports. Yeah.
This is an awesome and frightful number of enhancements. I like them all. That's the dangerous part. Yeah, but I do wonder what it's going to be with Elasticsearch and Zebra, because major improvements to Zebra aren't that popular because Elasticsearch is being developed right now. So that would be something worth talking to those developers, I think.
Oh, there is a bug that you can't link to item search. From it's an oldie, but there's also actually already a batch actions from item search results bug or someone else. Yes, Andrew already had one. Or no. Yeah. So actually,
We'd like to see a spell check feature in the advanced cataloging editor.
I like that in your bug you put being able to define which tags, because not every tag it would be helpful for. Nope. Yes. You already put the thing in.
Yeah, I don't want it to try to spell check my 008s.
Didn't Owen put something about redesigning staff search results in the Slack a while back? Is there a bug on that?
I remember what you're talking about, but I don't know if there's a bug or not.
I just tagged on the thread and asked if he had a bug number for it. Though I don't know if he's around right now.
It looks cleaner, what he's proposing.
Mm-hmm. He does not think that there's a bug for it yet.
Guess this isn't web devy, but does anybody use the Biblioteca plugin, the Cloud Library plugin? How does the record maintenance work? You just, I looked at the blog post and it said something about you click a button and it pulls in the records and then you can run a cron job to update the records.
We click the button and it does import the records, and it'll show, like, seems to do it in sort of like batches, or at least it updates you at what it's doing in batches. So it'll say, like, uploaded 48 records and then, uploaded 50 records, or however it's phrased. And then I'm not sure about the cron job. What is that supposed to do to them?
It's supposed to keep the records fresh, I think.
Oh, I didn't know I needed to keep them fresh.
Well, like if I assume it means like it'll take out the ones that you no longer are paying for and put in
Okay.
the new ones you add.
Okay, that makes sense.
But does it also add an item to the record?
It doesn't, and I have a bug for that.
Okay.
There's a bug for that. There's an app for that.
I thought it was just Barbara's catchphrase. She's good at writing these bugs.
You should get a black plaque that says, "I've got a bug for that."
I'm wanting to. I got the information to sync this up. Ours is different because we go through the state library. We don't manage our own subscription, but they were able to get me the credentials to set up the plugin. So I'm just kind of nervous to do it. Like, should I do it late at night to crash Koha? Should I do it while people are working to crash Koha? That kind of thing.
Later morning.
Later morning.
So want to do right after lunchtime, or target for your patrons' lunchtime, but we're still in would be nice so we can restart Koha for you.
All right. Once I get brave enough to push the button.
I think you'll crash it, but
I am like oddly talented. I just need you to know at messing things up, even when I'm not trying to.
The adding items bug is 26876. And we'd like it to do that because we have items on all of our overdrive records, and we'd like everything to be consistent, and it helps us with statistics and knowing what's the counts are in our collection.
Yeah, that's how we're handling records right now. Except I'm manually importing them, except the state library hasn't provided us with a fresh update in years. So it would be nice to get this plugin working. We also have the Hoopla plugin installed apparently, but I don't have that set up. And that would save me some time too, because I've been uploading those records monthly and just deleting them and then uploading the new batch and adding items as I go. So yeah, I think being able to have the choice to add an item on import would be definitely handy with this.
Well, and we've been working on, I get a list from Overdrive, or I can run a report from Overdrive about deleted records. And that's difficult to manage to get those out, because the only thing I have from Overdrive is the ISBN. And so I've worked with different ways of trying to make this less tedious. And I went in and I copied the ISBN from the Overdrive bib into the barcode field of the item record, so that then I could search by barcode, which is actually the ISBN. And so I was able to grab records that way. And then there was a Monday Minutes about the Report Plus plugin. And I saw how you could grab and get a report, and that was helpful. And I can see how you can, let's see. I think you can download that into a spreadsheet, but I'd like to be able to batch edit right from there. That would be very efficient for me. And I have a bug for that. That's 27504. And Jason, we don't have a lot of Cloud Library bibs yet, but it did feel somewhat like they were slow uploading, or that sometimes it felt a little bit like, has it stalled? I'm not sure if it's really still working or not. That was when we first uploaded the first batch, which was really only probably, I don't know, 300 records. It wasn't really very many. And now when we update, we generally only have, 50 or so. So I don't know if you'll experience any of that, if you've got a lot.
So after the initial import, you just go back into the plugin and click it again, and it updates.
It has a option like upload records from date, and the date's already pre-filled in, which is basically the last date you did your upload. And so
Okay.
you're just loading records forward to whatever date you're at presently.
Yeah, and I have no idea how many records we have statewide. I don't even know how many I've imported. I want to say it's, yeah, I have 11,000 in the catalog right now, but who knows how many of those actually work. And then with the recorded books thing, we used to have recorded books, but they migrated all of their titles. The state migrated all their titles over to Cloud Library so that we were on one platform. So there's going to be a lot more records, but yeah, as long as I time it correctly so that I can say that I started a fire in Slack and Bywater can pour water on it, then it'll probably be fine.
I do have a question about testing a bug. I can't remember which one it is now, but in the test plan, it said run update database.pl. And so I got to that step and I thought, I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I can do that. So what does that mean?
Are you using a sandbox?
Yes.
Not. I'm not so familiar with sandboxes, but look at something.
I wasn't sure if that was kind of like out of my scope of really being able to do in a sandbox.
It should run automatically. I asked Kyle about this once on a bug I was testing, and he said it should run when a patch is applied, or maybe when you do the restart all. But you can also ask Bywater to run, like Kyle or Nick, to run like update database.pl or something else in the test plan to let you use the test plan or the sandboxes to sign off on things that need you to run that kind of thing.
So I'd like just let them know the sandbox I'm using and ask them to do that.
Yeah, that's what they've told me to do in the past.
Okay. Good to know.
So I just say, I often will name my sandboxes things like LS and then whatever bug I'm working on in case somebody else starts also working on the same bug. And so I'll just be like, it's the one that I made in the sandboxes.
I need to run. Great talking with everyone. See you all in a month, if not sooner.
Bye.
Have we ran out of topics and bugs?
Well, we'll never run out of bugs, just bugs that we know are going on. It's a bad sign, I think, if we run out of bugs because it means we're not improving things anymore. We're just only fixing problems and not, adding anything fresh to make new bugs
Or breaking things.
or breaking things. Yeah. So many bugs means that the community's doing something right. But we might have run out of topics for today.
Maybe.
So let's see, when's our next meeting? That be the 18th of February?
Yep, that's what I have on the calendar. Next meeting, February 18th. And I'll go crash my system and report back on how well I did.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.